I heard, like, this was in a video that I saw a while back. I heard the best possible, like, response and riff on that. This isn't the killing house. It's a killing bungalow. Basically, a bungalow is like it's just a type of house.
I've heard of it. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know too much exactly what it is. It's like a sort of like a low slung, sometimes 2 units, I think. Like, you know, where it's sort of like 2 houses in one.
Yeah.
It's like a low slung. Like, remember your like the house you had when we visited you in Canada? It's like that, but with the second floor cut off.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Like the duplex.
Yeah, so it's like that, but with the second floor cut off. So there are often like there may be 2 houses in there, but it's 1 floor, and it looks relatively interconnected.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so somehow I don't think I've actually asked you this question yet. How have you been?
Oh, amazing. How have you been?
Good. How have I not asked you? We've been on this call for what? An hour or something like that? Or, well, 40 minutes?
Yeah. But yeah.
How we've been.
I mean, I think like I'm like, hey, what's up? But that's about it.
Yeah. Well, we've got one person in this call with relatively poor conversational skills, me, and you tend to be a little bit on the shy side, so it's like
Exactly.
Ooh, perfect pizza. Nom 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 nom. Pizza. Mom says hi.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Pizza. Scott, do you remember Driftin' Pizza?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got some of that.
Okay.
Mom and Dad were nice enough to order me a like a full pizza for myself because I'm gonna be hungry.
Oh, nice.
Gosh, that's good. It's funny. Sometimes I'm half tempted to like rig up a secondary fire button so that I can fire if my hand isn't on the mouse.
Oh, you could, yeah. You can do that.
Sadly, I don't think this game has secondary controls. A lot of games do, but I don't. Let me check. I'm curious now.
It needs to. I mean, Apex Legends, I'm pretty sure has secondary controls.
Oh, there's fire and alternate fire.
Fortnite has alternate controls, like pretty much every game does.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in fairness, this is an old game.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
It's an old game. I mean, this is a 2012 game.
I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I've seen new Battle Arena games that look substantially worse than this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But especially these core maps look really good, and the community maps. Like the community maps that they've actually accepted into the game, because so many are made, they have to be so high quality to even stand a chance that the community maps are usually just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally art forms. Like, I mean, I've seen cases where they literally just put a mosaic in because why not? Like a beautiful mosaic that might be, in other cases, an art form on its own right. And it's just like, oh sure, I'll just put this in like one end of a hallway.
Is there like a point though to make a like fan-made map? Like, I mean, like,
Well,
what
yeah,
do you get from it?
people can use it on the workshop. I mean, I don't think you get like a monetary reward, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, if I was running it, I would give a monetary reward for being accepted into the official map pools. I mean, it's a very elite club. I think there are only like 3 or 4 community maps in there.
Okay.
And it's not as if like they're rotated or something. It's been the same for years now, I think. So I would certainly give it like a medium to large monetary reward, like a couple of grand for the team.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, again, there are thousands of maps out there. I mean, it's a very competitive market, and you're basically getting close to free game design, or well, not game design, but map design. So I think at least you give a couple grand or something for the team. I mean, because most of the really high quality community maps are like 10, 20 people.
True.
So it's like person. I mean, it's like it probably costs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it cost Valve like 5 to 10 grand per person to develop a map. So the least you can do is give a community member a couple hundred a person.
And then how long would it take to develop a map?
I mean, it takes a long time. I mean, consider that to do it properly. I mean, if you look around at this map and think about it from like a map making perspective. Was that Chewie in the background?
Yeah.
Good boy. You have to make all of these textures, and these look either handmade or taken from very good sources. I mean, these textures are not the highest quality because it's one of the oldest maps in the game. But certainly some of the newer maps is much higher quality. And then you have to do the extremely careful modeling of everything. Like, I mean, there are literally, like, independent railings on this map.
True.
Like, there are railings, there are independent pipes that are colliding, there's all the background, there's, like, antennas. It's so in-depth. Like, I mean, they did so much to make this map look real. And on the community maps, they do even more than this. That was both of them, wasn't it? Sweeties. I've just gotten used to dogs just barking, frankly. It's like just something I'm used to. Like with 3 dogs in the home, even if one of them doesn't bark very often, you have to get used to barking.
Yeah, I mean, what if you hated dogs but you still owned like 3 of them?
Dogs are probably not the pet for you.
Yeah, really not.
Although I think there are a few breeds who don't bark.
Oh, really? Which ones?
I don't know, but I remember like either reading something or seeing something about that. I can't remember if it was like on YouTube or something, or maybe it's just hearsay. But I think there are like a couple of them, but they're mostly like small dogs, you know.
Oh, okay.
Not particularly interesting ones. Definitely not Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas bark like crazy. But I think there are like some of the smaller breeds. And obviously, the chiller a dog is, the less they'll bark. I mean, we have one dog who is extremely happy-go-lucky, but is so friendly that he can't hold it in. That's Psycho. And we have another one who's extremely nervous, so it's like, of course they're gonna bark a lot.
I mean,
that guy was staring at a wall.
Miniature schnauzers bark a lot.
Yeah. She doesn't bark that much, does she?
No.
That's what I think. That's what I figured. I mean, again, that's just it's a spectrum. Personally, for me, I don't care as much about barking. If it's really loud and like annoying sound, then that's one thing. But I've only encountered a few dogs with actually annoying sounding barks, and it's mostly dogs who have extremely flat barks. So they're not expressive when they bark, and they're also just kind of, and they bark all the time, and it's like a piercing bark. Like,
yeah.
Even Chew, like Chew, you might think might be closer, but even he, it's like his barks are quite varied from my memory. I mean, it's like certainly not the same bark each time.
Okay. All right.
Whereas I've heard other dogs where it is woof 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 woof. Whether it's in fear or excitement or in anger or what. And it's just like, that gets annoying quickly.
It would, yeah. I mean, Chewie gets annoying quickly.
Personally, I always wanted big dogs. Like one of my dreams for retirement is to have a house out in the valley out here, and basically just act as an animal home. Just like have a constant rolling cycle of dogs. Have like 10 dogs at a time. And basically, whenever and just adopt them from the shelter, and whenever one bites the dust, because that's gonna happen. Just get another one, and just serve as a home.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
And ideally, have some land as well, so they can just go and run. funny. I've actually started drawing up some designs for that home. It's just one of the things I do. So I like to put things on paper, or well, in this case, on circuit boards, I guess. Yeah, I've been working off and on a 3D model.
Nice.
It's quite an interesting thing because I've been designing it to be effectively tsunami-proof.
Okay.
Because I mean, you remember the rough situation in the Yahas River Valley, right?
In where?
The Yahas River Valley.
Remind me.
You know, it starts just south of town.
Okay.
And there's the big bridge. Or, well, big bridge. It's quite a little bridge, but it's the big bridge of the city.
That divides Wallport and Newport.
No, it's further south. It's like actually south of Yahas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, so that valley up there is just I mean, all valleys are going to be natural tsunami funnels to a degree, but this valley it's relatively narrow and it has very steep sides, like 30-degree sides. And in the case of a tsunami, it's just going to wash completely, like probably 10, 20 feet deep if it's a big tsunami. And so basically I've been working on the problem how to design a building that both looks good and can survive that with little to no damage. And I think I've actually found a way to do it. Basically, it basically looks like an upturned boat hull. But it's a bit more elegant than that makes it sound. And by boat hull, I mean more like, like a Viking longship style boat hull. Made of concrete and steel. And basically, I think, and I don't have the facilities to test this. Hopefully, when I get to OSU, I can actually because OSU is a huge wave lab.
Right.
So hopefully, when I get to OSU, I can actually test this. But I think, even against a very large tsunami, it should be more or less impervious.
Okay, does OSU, would I be allowed to visit?
I mean, if you started a research project in college, I think so. Like, I mean, it would be a case of asking for permission. I really don't know how the research system works.
Okay.
But I imagine, yeah. But I mean, it's just a wave lab. It's a large one, but it's just a wave lab. It's certainly not unique.
Okay.
It's a good wave lab because OSU does a lot of work. Like, OSU is the only, I believe it's the only, I'm not sure if it's the only one in the nation or one of a very elite club. Maybe it's the only one in the western part of the United States that has a full research grant for all 4 major areas, that being land, air, sea, and space.
So is it better than like a high school science lab?
Oh yeah, I mean, when I say big, I mean big. Like, do you remember the Hatfield Hatfield Marine Science Center?
I do.
And its little wave lab?
Yeah.
You know, like where you had that Lego stuff? Take that and multiply it in all dimensions by about 20 to 30.
Wow.
Like, I've been there. It's about, I'd say it's about 10 feet wide, maybe more. It's a couple of 100 feet long. And it can support waves of, I think, up to like 15 feet. So yeah, it's huge.
Wait, so then, oh yeah, I'm curious though, like, why did you choose the, Beaver College over the Duck College?
Engineering. U of O, which is the Southern University and the one that holds the Ducks, does not have an engineering program. It's like that kind of sealed the decision. Plus, frankly, I like Corvallis better.
But don't they, like, suck at football?
I don't care about football. Not enough to change my education system. Plus, frankly, I have a hard time, like, having all of my school documents the color of snot. I mean, that is literally what color it is. I mean, it is It's not green and it's not yellow. It's a really weird choice.
Okay.
And like, it's not even representative of ducks. It's like you could have had a really elegant scheme based off of mallard, where it's like this iridescent green and some blue and some red. But no, instead you chose green and yellow. It's like, why?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. That's fair.
I mean, you remember the colors. It's like,
I do, yeah.
It really
totally.
is like, it's not green. It's like, what are you doing? I'm tired.
Oh, okay. I hate, like, I'm going to have to go back to school on Monday, and I hate it.
Yeah, the end of breaks is always hard.
Yeah, it's like I'm dreading getting back to school. It's
Yeah.
been so nice.
Is there anything in particular that you're worried about? Just maybe anything that I can help with, or something like that?
Probably, English class.
Fair enough. Honestly, fair enough. Like, English is tricky.
Yeah.
I mean,
I suck at it.
How much? Yeah, but I mean, I don't think anyone is very good at English. Like in terms of empirically, because it's basically impossible to be good at, because it's a total menagerie of like 8 different languages that were just all compiled and muddled and bastardized. And I mean that in terms of the proper sense of the word bastard, meaning an illegitimate child.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just all of these. It's just this mess of languages and words, and the grammar system that we used was never changed because it was the first one ever that came around, and people are like, we don't want to have to change it again. But yeah, English is a nightmare.
I hate it.
How much is your curriculum focused on grammar and stuff?
It's definitely a lot. I mean, I've gotten, like, bad, marks because I haven't, I had, like, trouble, like, spelling some of the words.
Yeah. Do you have to submit paper, or do you do digital assignment?
Both. Both, yeah.
Well, for the digital one, I do actually have a recommendation. There's a free program called Grammarly.
I already have that.
Yeah, Grammarly's awesome, isn't it?
It's pretty good, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like, sometimes I spell a word wrong and it still doesn't correct it, but sometimes it does.
But I mean, it's a heck of a lot better than any default word processing.
100% agreed.
Yeah. For paper, I've never been the best at spelling either. For me, the only thing that really worked, and again, this is just because I had so much free time, was reading a lot. Like, reading at higher levels, just because... And actually, one other thing that helps for some words is studying the roots. Like, studying the roots, prefixes, and suffixes.
Okay.
It's not a thing as much for English, but a good knowledge of the Latin roots and the Greek roots will still get you far.
Yeah.
And I hate to I hate to say that memorization is a good option, but in the current curriculum paradigm, at least for the United States, I don't know how it is up there.
It's the same.
The best option I know of.
Okay.
Is like, don't do it to the point of obsession by any means, but like getting the more common roots, prefixes, and suffixes will help you.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of the times you can just make up words and they'll be real. Like if you have that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, if you add poly to the front of a word, it's gonna be a multiple. So if it's like, to go into chemical, if it's polysulfide, that means pretty universally that there are going to be multiple sulfides in that. Or it could also be polylinguistic, in which case it's multiple languages. And it's that sort of thing, and it's like, even if you don't know whether that's an accurate word, people will at least know what you mean, and it's likely that you can find synonyms for that.
Okay.
And those synonyms will be correct.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so, in other languages, it's essential.
Yeah.
Like, in Spanish, for example. Like, I was never very good at Spanish, but in Spanish, it was essential to memorize the roots. One good thing was, once you did memorize it, you were done with that. And it was like, there were very, very few irregular roots and stuff. But sadly, English is not quite so lucky.
Yeah. Okay.
How much do you guys have to do writing?
Like that's like all it is pretty much. Is just like that's all. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All we do, an hour and a half every day just writing. And plus a ton of homework, so probably the more like 5 hours a day. So yeah, of writing.
I'm not sure if you heard that. I just heard like 4 sirens go past, which is a little worrying.
Is it like police or like firefighters?
I think I heard at least one of police, fire, and ambulance.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, admittedly, the police are pretty not busy around here. I mean, remember, Yaz is a pretty chill place. But having 4 vehicles go at the same time is a little worrying because that means they're all from roughly the same place.
Yeah.
Like, which means that that's probably one of the fire departments dispatching basically everything they have. So that time when you normally hear that kind of sound is like a bad car crash.
What if someone tries to rob the Yahat's bank?
We don't have a bank anymore. I'm not even kidding. We do not have a bank anymore. That could like pulled out and infuriated everyone in the town. It's like absolutely adding insult to injury because we already lost the gas station, and now we've lost the bank too. Well, I mean, it was a couple years ago now, but we're still sore about it.
I haven't been there in a few years, so yeah.
Yeah, we are sore about it. Absolutely, we are sore about it.
Wait, why'd you lose the bank?
Because it wasn't profitable enough for a big organization like Bank of the West.
Oh, okay.
We've been doing off and on discussions with like local credit unions and stuff to see if maybe we can get something in there. But nothing conclusive yet.
They do have a gas station either.
Yeah, the gas station's not even there anymore. The bank building's at least there. The bank building actually got put to a pretty good use. It's part of the new. It's basically it's an addendum to City Hall.
Okay.
So the bank building at least has been put to decent use. The gas station building was demolished, and a Dollar General replaced it.
Oh, I heard. Okay, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I don't think people and Yahat is incredibly salty about the Dollar General. I don't think we would be, at least not as much, if it hadn't replaced the gas station. It's like, I think if they just had like an old residential lot or something that had been empty for ages, or maybe literally the commercial lot right next door that has been empty for over a decade, maybe then we wouldn't be so salty about it. But the facts of the matter are that they've replaced our only remaining gas station.
Wait, so you know, like,
we're annoyed about this.
In my town, there's a gas station.
We do have an electric charging station, though, which is nice.
In Yahas, does anyone like have like Teslas or anything?
Oh yeah, Teslas are common around here.
Aren't they like stupid expensive?
Keep in mind this is a retirement community.
Okay,
so people have a lot more money, and they're not actually that bad in terms of their category. I think they start at like 40,000 now. Nah, I need to look this up because I don't want to get this wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, 37,000.
55,000 here in Canada.
Yeah, that makes sense given the conversion factor. So it's like a basic Tesla is about the cost of our current Subaru, maybe a little bit more. Obviously, you can go up to like the $80,000 ones, but those are less common around here.
Wait, so there's a YouTuber named HowToBeast, and he spent like $108,000 on his Tesla.
That's probably like most of the options and like the advanced stuff, and like combined with just a very good model.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, if they have like a 400-mile range, and I believe that figure is for both ways. Basically, it can go a total of something like 800 miles. I think. I'm not sure. It may be not there, but certainly for local driving, and with the very low price of electricity here, electric is a great option for most people.
Okay. Alright.
So it actually makes really good sense to buy a Tesla, and there are a lot of electric charging stations in Oregon. Like, if you're spending most of your time in Oregon, especially in the western parts, an electric is a decent option, frankly.
Yeah. Alright.
Like, and that's only going to get better. And obviously in California, of course, it's an amazing option. In California, there are charging stations everywhere.
Wait, so did you, like, consider buying a Tesla, though?
No, actually. I'm not really sure why. But we never did consider it. Basically, our previous Subaru conked out, and we really wanted to get another Subaru. Because we were pretty happy with it. I mean, we didn't know quite how good of a Subaru we were going to get. We've ended up getting an amazing Subaru. like not in so much that it's just a very high price. It's just a very, very good machine.
Yeah.
And it served us fantastically. The only complaint any of us have is maybe it could do with a little more power. But even then, that only really manifests itself at like 60 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we didn't exactly buy it to be a sports car. We have one of those. But it's been an amazing vehicle. But no, I mean, looking back on it, we probably should have considered buying a Tesla.
Okay. Okay.
Especially considering we figured out after taking the train cross country, we kind of realized that it's a decent shout for us to take the train long cross country. It's going to be cheaper than aircraft, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable. So we're not really going to be taking it across country more than likely. I think we've taken this one across country once. Or no, no, we haven't. We haven't. We've never taken this across country. Heck, I'm not sure if we've ever taken it out of the state.
Okay, when you went up to Canada, didn't you drive?
Or yeah, we took it up to Canada, sorry.
Okay.
But it's so close, it's like barely even feels like it's out of state. I mean, it would be the equivalent of like, I don't know, driving across like Alberta or something. It's like, it doesn't feel that long. I mean, obviously it's gonna be boring driving across Alberta, but it's not that many miles. So, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not silly amounts of miles. It's not like crossing the United States. Like, we've driven cross country before. There and back. But just the southern route. But yeah. Yeah, we really should have considered buying a Tesla. They're good vehicles and they're reliable. I don't know how they've managed to make an electric reliable. And frankly, I still wouldn't trust it in serious mud. Or well, not even serious mud, but just way out of the way. Because you can't carry spare fuel for it.
True.
And more importantly, really, because you've got a pretty good idea of how long your battery's gonna last. More importantly, you can't fix it.
True.
It's like, I mean, we're not exactly going to be able to fix the transmission on our Subaru, the continuously variable transmission. I mean, it's extremely complex. Are you familiar with continuously variable transmissions at all?
I'm sorry, someone just shot me in the head. What did you say?
Are you familiar with continuously variable transmissions at all?
No,
Yeah, it's not the most common thing these days anyway. Basically, it's like an alternative to an automatic or a manual transmission that effectively allows continual shifting of the ratio. Basically, it's two cones opposed to each other with a gap in the middle. Sorry, I'm crazy to try and describe this. I'm going to send you an image. I don't know why I set out on that. I was not that far and then went, Oh God, what am I thinking?
Okay. No, that's fine.
Let me find. Interestingly, it looks like most of these are done with chains. Here we go. This works. This is a great. This is a great image. Very, very simplified, but this is the basics of a continuously variable transmission.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
So you see the way that it's two cones?
So two cones and like a chain on it?
Yeah, a chain or a belt.
Okay.
And it's set up so that the distance is constant wherever that chain is, and it can move the chain back and forth. And so, in this case, the right-hand cone would be the power, and the left hand would be the output. And so you can see, if it's all the way sort of towards the front of the image, you're going to get the highest ratio. And if it's all the way at the back, you're going to get the lowest ratio.
So there's also like a wheel on.
That's just hooking up to an electric motor.
Okay.
This is probably like a demonstration model.
Mm-hmm.
And this one has surprisingly little variance. I don't know why exactly. I think ours has significantly more variance, because that's less variance than you would find in like a conventional transmission. But yeah, so that's what we have, and we're not exactly going to be able to take a car apart and fix that. But we can probably reattach like a fuel line or something that is broken if we have the tools. And as much as we're not that good at that, like you can fix it if you're out in the middle of nowhere usually. An electric? No chance.
So would you just have to call like AAA or someone to fix it?
Yeah, I mean, the van isn't even going to be able to get there in a back road. I mean, did you ever explore the back roads, like sort of to the east of the coast?
The back roads. I mean, we may have like drove
like the logging gravel roads.
Oh, the gravel. I think me and Grandpa Tom like drove his Prius through those.
That's bold.
Is that bad?
A Prius is, I think, a one-wheel drive car.
Correct, yeah.
Maybe with a two-wheel drive limited slip differential. Those roads, I sometimes have traction problems in the Subaru. Just consider yourself lucky that you didn't go, that you didn't go deep into it. And that's not just rhetorical. A few years ago, or more than that now, close to 10 years ago, there was a news story of a family that froze to death because they took their minivan up in the back roads following their GPS.
They froze? They froze?
They ran out of gas. They couldn't get signal. Because it was in the middle of nowhere. And that basically the highway was closed for whatever reason. And so instead of just taking the normal bypass, they were just like, oh, we'll just use the GPS. And at that time, like nowadays it's much better. But at that time, it's not as if the GPS accounted for speed limits and stuff particularly. And so it just directed them to whatever the closest straight line path was. Which, in this case, was gravel roads and sometimes mud roads in the middle of a winter storm.
So then how, like, when were they found? How were they found?
I think, like, 2 days later, they got signal.
Oh.
Like, a tiny bit of signal, and it took, like, another day to rescue them. By which point, I think at least 2, maybe 3 members had frozen to death.
So, like, how did they survive? Like, what did they do when they ran out of gas?
Like, well, I mean, again, they didn't necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Like, it was 4 people. And I think either 2 or 3 of them froze to death. It was extremely sad.
So how did, like, the ones that didn't freeze to death, like, did they...
Probably took the clothes of the others.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know exactly, but that's about all you had. Yeah. I mean, again, they're in, like, low-clearance two-wheel drive minivan, and they're driving mud roads, and they found a tree across the road. And they were stowed in. There's nothing they could do. It was extremely sad.
Yeah, that sucks. Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, locals have a healthy respect for the back roads.
So then,
We
how
use them a fair bit, but
were these
we have
people?
healthy
I'm
respect.
guessing they were tourists.
Oh yeah, just tourists.
Okay.
They had no idea where they were going. I mean, and there was no way to know because basically most of the gravel roads around here aren't just like gravel off the highway. They're like you go from highway, and especially considering these guys came off 34 rather than 20. It goes highway, then regional road, then local road, then gravel, then worse gravel, then mud. And by the time you reach the mud, if it's in the middle of a storm, you're committed.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you try and stop to turn, you either have to reverse for miles, because usually they're one lane roads, or even if it's like 1.5 lane, you can't turn around in them.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like you're kind of committed. And so in the right vehicle, it's a blast and a beautiful. I love going on the back road, but it's not for all vehicles. That's for dang sure.
So is a minivan like they're not powerful enough to do it?
Not powerful enough in two-wheel drive with full tires.
Oh, okay.
And they had no tools at all. They didn't even have like a handsaw.
I mean, like, why? Like, what?
Well, they didn't think they'd be going on back roads.
Okay.
They thought it was just like again, that's what I mean about how gradual. They thought they were taking a bypass to a blockage. And they were going to be back on the highway in less than a mile.
Oh, okay.
It's like they had no way to know.
True.
Like they didn't think to look ahead on their GPS, and they didn't have a map.
Yeah.
And they just followed it. It's a serious cautionary tale to anyone local of do not trust the GPS above all else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I imagine it's kind of the same thing in Canada. Like if you're out in the boonies, you need to use your judgment, not the GPS's judgment.
So could they sue the GPS company for that?
No, because the GPS never claimed to take into account like speed limits and back roads and stuff. I mean, that's not even what they're designed for.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really, they shouldn't have been using the GPS as anything other than a map.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they had any way to know that, but they shouldn't have been using it as anything other than a map, and the GPS was just not up to the job, because it wasn't designed to be. I mean,
yeah.
Keep in mind as well, this was like the 2010. This is like 2010 or so.
GPS has gotten better?
Oh yeah, much better. Like, I mean, I remember those old GPSs. I mean, I was only about 7. I remember them. They gave you some wonky routes, even in the city.
Oh.
I mean, I remember cases where it was like, why is it routing us down residential side streets? There's a highway that goes straight there that's empty.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if it does that in the city? I mean, that was like in suburban Portland. If it does that there, then there's no way it's going to be able to handle back roads. And the other thing to keep in mind is half of the roads aren't even on the map. Because they're literally logging roads that are made sometimes seasonally. It is quite possible for, if the map is at all out of date, for a road to simply dead end where it says it continues, and that could get you stuck. Because if the GPS is saying it's continuing, you think, oh, maybe it's just a patch of mud. No, it's an abandoned road. And in the minivan, by the time you're in there, you're in too deep to get out. I mean, that's the other thing with the minivan is, like, you can literally get in, because if you have any speed going into it, basically, like, even if you hit it at, like, 20 miles an hour, you can very easily get stuck.
Did this family, say, what, did they say, their opinion on the issue? Or, did they speak out?
I mean, again, I think there was only either 1 or 2 survivors, and, I mean, they were traumatized.
Oh.
Like, I mean, they were coming to the coast for a nice vacation. and they had their lives changed irreparably.
Yeah.
I think someone made it. I'm trying to remember, but I'm not actually sure that anyone made it out.
Oh. So they were just found by Coast Guard?
I think maybe. Or not Coast Guard, far too far in for that.
Oh.
If no one made it out, then most likely a hunter.
Oh, okay.
A hunter came up the back roads and either found one person barely alive, or potentially a minivan full of corpses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the back roads are to be respected.
Yeah. I mean, is there like...
They're amazing and beautiful, but...
There's no warning on it, like, at all?
Half the time there isn't even signage. I mean, again, the only people who use these are hunters, explorers, and logging trucks. And the logging trucks all have their own maps, and the hunters have done it enough that they know the area, and they're big enough pickup trucks that it doesn't matter if they get lost.
True.
I mean, you remember American pickup trucks?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, 100%.
How much, do you guys get those in Canada? Like, obviously not American ones, but do you get the same level of, like, really big pickup trucks?
Yeah,
like, presumably they're a bit more gas efficient, but yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's not as if it's really going to be an issue, like, hunting, like if you're a hunting party in a truck like that, it's not as if you're going to have, it's not as if you're really going to get stuck in anything, and even if you do, you probably have a winch. So it's very safe to basically go wherever. And the logging trucks, of course, are too big to get stuck in almost anything. And they have radio that's powerful enough that they can call for help.
Yeah. So this family didn't even have...
Yeah.
Wow, I mean...
It seems stupid in hindsight, but...
Yeah.
This was the first real incident that had ever happened on these roads, at least recently. And so it was not in the public eye. At all. So, there was no thought to be, like, the locals all knew. Like,
I mean, I just think, like, how can they be this stupid?
I mean, again, sorry, maybe I didn't quite make myself clear. It wasn't stupidity.
Oh, okay.
It was a gradual process.
So, like, when was the family like, okay, we know that, like, we're in danger?
Probably about when they found the tree.
Oh, okay.
Because up until then, they could keep the van moving. I mean, it was snowing hard, but I guess the roads were clear enough that you could keep it moving, at least, even with a lot of wheel slip. And then they found, like, a huge tree across the road. Like, probably like a 2-3 foot fallen tree. And that's probably when they started to think, we could die here.
Okay.
Because if they stop, which they have to, there's a good chance they can't get going again, even in reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who was, like, how many, like, family members were these?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, again, I was like 7 at the time, and obviously my parents tried to shield me at least a little bit from it.
Yeah.
I think it was a family of 4. I know the father died. I remember that for a fact. I think at least one other person died, maybe 2. So, yeah. And I mean, it's not a nice way to go.
No.
It's slow hypothermia.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's maybe get off this. I'm starting to get kind of depressing to talk about it, because it's really sad.
Okay.
I think we were talking about English class, weren't we?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you, last time, like, we got off, we were talking about, like, watches, so, like, do you, like, wear, like, how many, like, suits do you have?
I am very, very lucky. Being the only child of an only child, I have inherited, I believe, 5 full sets of suits.
Oh, nice, okay. Do you
going all the way back to my great grandfather.
wear them like? Do you like wear a suit a lot?
Not often. Only on because we have to dry clean them.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, for us, it's not just like I'm guessing what it's like a mile to the nearest dry cleaner where you are. Something
Yeah.
I mean, it's not far. For us, it's all the way up in Newport.
Oh wow. Okay.
So, wearing a suit and cleaning it is a fairly serious undertaking. By far the most amusing escapade that's happened with me in my suits is the time that I brought it on carry-on backpack luggage to Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
Brought it in a flippin' backpack.
Is that good?
I mean, it was like in the back pocket of a backpack.
Could that get like
Like, and we had to
suit?
iron it when we got there and suit before.
Okay.
Fortunately, it turned out well. We could have just as easily ruined the suit, because that wasn't what I was thinking when I packed. And I wanted it to be a surprise to all involved. So I didn't tell Dad until I got it out in the Florida hotel.
Why was it like? Why did you like need to bring a suit?
Because it was my grandfather's birthday.
Oh.
And it was his suit.
Okay. Yeah. I see.
But it was a suit I'd inherited from him.
Okay.
And I thought it would be appropriate to wear it. Plus, it's a nice suit. And I really like my suits. Basically, I have 5, I believe, myself, and we have 1 that's shared. Not that either me or Dad have ever worn it.
Okay.
That is an exceptional suit. It's from the 50s. It's in immaculate condition. It's from my great-grandfather, who was notoriously, like, not politically conservative, or, I mean, he was, but not, like, in the modern sense, but just, you know, just like an old-fashioned guy.
Mhm.
It's bright, electric blue.
Nice.
It is stunning. It is like nothing me and my dad have ever seen before or since anywhere else. It's almost certainly one of a kind. And it's in immaculate condition. We don't intend to break that thing out except for something truly special.
So
Like,
what if
I
you
ever
just
have
like
a
wear
wedding,
it every day?
That's the suit I'm gonna wear.
What if you
Yeah.
just wear it like every day to like go to the gym?
Well, I don't go to gym. That's my own fault. But, that's one thing I wanted to ask you about. How on earth do you have the motivation to keep going to the gym? I struggle with that so badly. I mean, good on you for doing so. I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just saying I wish I could do the same, but
Well, okay, so do you know who the YouTuber Greg Doucette is, if you watch YouTube?
I think so.
Okay.
Did you just ask me whether I watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, do you not remember at all the hours we spent discussing stuff?
Okay, so yeah, you said that you watch Greg Doucette, right?
Or I don't watch him, but I'm familiar with him.
Okay, nice. So,
I don't really watch fitness YouTubers particularly.
what do you... So, like, you're familiar? Like, how did you first hear about him?
Like, I know he exists.
Okay. But you don't, like, watch his content?
No. Like, I mean, the only reason I know he exists is because I've seen it on your subscribe channels page.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, like, that's what I mean by I'm aware of him.
So pretty much I just like watch his videos and like he's the one that like motivates me to like go to the gym every day.
Yeah. Well, that works for you. For me, frankly, I've had issues with body image for a long time. It's just never been something I've been very comfortable with. I've never been comfortable in my own skin.
So like you
Heck, I just walked around a corner and there were 3 of them. Okay then, that just happened. Sorry to interrupt.
like body image, like you look too good for the gym or you look too bad for the gym?
It's not even that so much, but I mean, like I have baby fat, and like I think it's probably something to do with my autism, and it all ties in.
Okay. Well, like, Greg Doucette, like, he has, like, a really good physique, but, like, he's spent, like, decades. So, like, if I just spent, like, decades at the gym, maybe I could look like him.
Hey, you look pretty damn good yourself. Sorry for swearing, but
well, I don't look as good as Greg Doucette.
No, but you look dang fine in a suit.
If I step on a bodybuilding stage, I'd lose.
Oh yeah, but I mean, bodybuilding isn't even like this was something interesting I learned in my health class. The like actual bodybuilders, the way they get that look is by dehydrating themselves.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like it's not as if anyone healthy should look good on a bodybuilding stage in today's society. Like
well,
literally, if you look good, there's probably something unhealthy about you. It's sad, but
I mean, yeah, if I did, like, if I did, like, a 12-week bodybuilding prep, and then I did, like, one bodybuilding competition, and then I just, like, got, like, my diet and training back to normal, I mean, that would be fine. I'd accept.
I mean, frankly, I would more than happily, I would gladly take a physique like yours.
I would more than gladly take a physique like Greg Doucette's.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, it's like, I mean, at the moment, I mean, the only place where I have any significant amount of muscle is arms and legs. And it's like, I mean, hell, I'm 200 pounds, or close to it.
Oh, Greg Doucette is too.
Yes, however, he's full of muscle. But my healthy weight is like 160 to 180.
So, okay, can you just, like... I mean, you could just, like, build up your muscle, though, like, it's not, like, a big deal.
Yeah. What I meant asking more, like, I know physically I could, but it's just, I just wonder, for me, I mean, you know me, I have a fairly bad laziness complex, but, like, it's really hard for me to get up the willpower to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you could, like, have you ever been to the gym before?
I've been a couple of times on vacations and stuff.
Okay. Like, which gym, have you been to?
Like, hotel gyms and stuff.
Okay. What do you typically do at the gym?
Like, I mean, again, I go, like, once a vacation, if that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, like, light weights and stuff, mostly. But I mean, again, I do almost everything, like, the very few times I do it with machines, so.
Nice, yeah, that's, I would love to do, like, machine, like, weightlifting on machines, but, like, my gym barely has any machines, so I have to do free weights.
Yeah. I mean, when I say lift, I mean, like, 20 pounds. Like, I mean, it's, like, sillily low quantities.
Do you do,
but, I mean, again, it's, like...
8 to 12 reps with, like, you said 20 pounds?
I don't even remember. I mean, again, this is, like, once a year.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's literally one day of vacation where I'm just like, I feel good today, I might go to the gym, spend 15 minutes, go, oh yeah, that's why I don't go to the gym.
Okay. Maybe, I mean, could you try just, like, lowering the weight?
Well, I mean, again, it's pretty close to the minimum weight. But I mean, again, that's something I can only access on vacations.
Is there a gym near yachts?
No, there is not. And even if, like, Waldport or something, I think there is, I don't have the consistent income to go to it.
How much is it, I wonder?
I mean, even if, like, I mean, I don't have any consistent income, is what I mean.
Right, well, I mean, my parents pay for my gym membership, so, like, I think it would be the same for you.
Maybe. I imagine it's, like, $20 a month, something like that. I don't really know.
Okay, mine's 17, I think.
I mean, again, the issue is I'd probably never end up going to it.
Okay. If, like, maybe, like, if you could, tell, like, your parents, like, if you asked, like, I'm pretty sure, like, they'd say yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would, but, again, the problem is I don't want to waste their money.
Okay, yeah.
Because, frankly, I don't think I'd ever go. It's just kind of situation I'm in. Ooh. That was one shot, that first one.
Oh, what gunning is right now?
M4. I think the guy was low, but it's just like single snapshot.
Mag 7 for the... Oh, what am I using? M4 right now. Okay.
Yeah. M4 is good. Yeah, but honestly, I've been in kind of a rough way recently. It's been... Excuse me, sorry. It's been a bit tough.
You said, you've been like a rough,
I've been in a rough way recently.
Oh.
The effects of the isolation are finally starting to kick in. I mean, you know me, I'm not exactly the world's most social person.
They're just now... Oh.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I'm really not that much less socially active than I would be normally.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I'd see someone, like, once every month, if that. Like, I mean, it's not been that bad.
Okay.
And, ironically, I think the pressures of politics were actually keeping me in a decent condition because I had something to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, and I had one thing to look forward to at the end of it. And just, now that that's passed, it's like, it's gone, frankly, better than I would have imagined, but...
So you like that Joe Biden's in office?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to like it after Trump.
Yeah.
That was a good way of phrasing it, just a good way to be like, because, especially in the US, I mean, it's such a sensitive subject, I mean, that was a very good way of phrasing it, to be like, just trying to draw conclusions. That was very tactful of you.
I mean, in Canada, like, I know, like, in the US, like, it's all sensitive, but, like, in Canada, like, everyone's, like, just joking about US politics.
It's fair enough. They're right to be. I mean, we've made a laughingstock of ourselves. Like, it's completely right. Oh yeah, I mean, these last 4 years, we have made a laughingstock of our governmental institutions.
I mean, Canada, yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah, Canada is not as bad as the US. I can promise you that. We look up to Canada here.
We don't like Justin Trudeau, though. I mean...
Yeah, but I mean, like, there have been some, like, at least what I've seen is there have been some just minor scandals. They're all in mid, by the way. There have been, like, minor scandals, but it's not like, you know, abandoning the ally that every single person in the US agrees with because you want a hotel deal in Turkey. I mean, that literally happened.
Okay.
Explanation that anyone's been able to come up with for why on earth Trump abandoned the Kurds.
Is because of a hotel deal in Turkey?
Yep. Basically, he wanted to be buddy-buddy with the Turkish president to get a private hotel deal.
For himself?
Obviously, we can't... Yep. Obviously, we can't prove it, but that's the only explanation anyone can think of, and certainly if it would be, that would be absolutely, completely criminal.
Okay, well, restart your sentence. If Trump did what, it would be criminal?
If Trump actually did this, and this is the only explanation you can think of for why he abandoned the Kurds, then it would be criminal treason.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only thing, like, we can't prove it because he covers his facts well, but that's the only reason why we can think of this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, the Kurds were a long-standing U.S. ally. They were one of the relatively few Middle Eastern people with, at least to my understanding, relatively, at least from Western perspective, unquestionable morals. And we just abandoned them to the wall.
Because of Trump's...
Yep. Trump directly ordered it.
How would...
Against both sides of Congress, against every general, against everyone basically in the United States.
So, how would Trump's hotel deal, like, benefit the U.S.?
Not at all. He doesn't care about... He doesn't care about the U.S. He just wants power. Like, that is what I mean by we've made a laughingstock of our institutions. Like, I mean, as far as we can tell, we abandoned our longtime ally because our leader wanted a hotel deal worth a few million at best.
Oh,
The guy who's already a massive millionaire.
Can you, like, get rich being the president of the United States?
No, actually, that was one of the smart things we do. The U.S. salary is actually relatively low. It's lesser than some of the administrative positions. I think it's $400,000 a year, but a lot of that goes out maintaining the White House, which is the required residency.
Oh.
Like, it's not a particularly glamorous lifestyle. It might look it because you're in this big house, but
Right.
like, that was one of the very smart things that we've done. Is no, you can't. It's not at all a career position. Like our government, like I mean, you get paid enough to get by, but you don't get paid enough to be incredibly rich.
But how
that's a
come,
very
like,
smart decision.
Kim Jong-un is incredibly rich?
Well, I mean, again, dictatorship. It was a bit of a curveball.
Well, yeah, okay, how much money does Kim Jong-un make a year?
Frankly, I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't think North Korea has any real hard currency that's accepted outside.
So I guess, what was Trump? So you don't get rich off of,
No, he just wanted the power.
Okay, but Trump, he was already rich before, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, Trump is a long-standing businessman. He's a terrible businessman. He is the interesting tactic of seemingly purposely going bankrupt to sneak money out from taxes.
Huh.
An interesting tactic and a rather effective one. Completely immoral, of course, but does seem to work. Given how, like, either that he is really just that incompetent and is incapable of hiring managers, which is hard for me to believe. That incompetent, absolutely, but incapable of hiring managers, that doesn't click with me.
Trump. Okay, so how is it, like, immoral to, like, declare bankruptcy?
Or it's not. It's just it's illegal to do that and then hide money away.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. What I'm confused about is, like, how did like, Trump's done, like, so many illegal things in the White House. I mean, how, like, if someone else does that, they get arrested. But if Trump does it, everything's fine. Like, why is that?
Basically, we can't prove, like, no one can prove anything. It's the one thing he's good at is covering his tracks.
Okay.
And, like, we need serious hard, especially considering he put half the judges in the court.
Yeah.
And his party at the time controlled the Senate, which is needed to actually do anything about it. It's extremely difficult to do anything. Like, I think possibly one of the things that Biden might try to address is a changing of the impeachment system. At least that might be something that I would go for. Is see if you can set up basically like an external tribunal type thing. Like, basically an external body of lawyers to do it, so that you don't have to mess around with the politics of it. Because I mean, the whole point of impeachment, and this is why it's so hard, is that it's designed to be impervious to the political whims. That's the theory. In reality, of course, it just means that whichever party controls the Senate wins.
Sure.
But even then, it's pretty hard. I mean, even when cases like this have happened, convictions are very, very rare and only happen in absolutely clear-cut cases. I mean, when Reagan hired people to break in and steal the tapes from the Democratic National Convention, that's open and shut.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's something like what Trump's done, it's like he's so bloody slimy that he can weasel his way out, and the people in the Senate want nothing more than to do that.
So Trump, I mean, he's smarter than, like, other presidents.
Yeah, he's no longer the president.
Yeah, but like he used to be though.
Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit. Could you repeat that?
Oh yeah, so I mean, like, is Trump smarter than, like, other past presidents?
No, Trump's an idiot.
Oh, okay.
like, and that's not even just like, you know, he makes poor decisions. Like, he is genuinely dumb from what we can tell.
Something I meant to ask you though last time we talked, like, how do you feel like did Trump handle like the whole like George Floyd cop situation?
Not terribly, terribly.
Oh, okay.
Completely bungled it. I mean, this is the guy who tried to label both Antifa and Black Lives Matter as terrorist organizations. I mean, he wasn't the only one, but I mean, it's like, in what world is Antifa, which is anti-fascist, how is that a terrorist organization? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a bunch of angsty teenagers who just want the world to work. And BLM is people from all over the nation. Like, I mean,
yeah.
my parents are part of BLM.
Yeah, I mean most people are.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, in terms of active people who actually join protests.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm not, yeah, okay. I just believe in the matter.
Yeah, absolutely. My parents go out every Saturday to Town Square and, well, Town Square, but like sidewalk and hold up BLM signs.
Okay, that's okay. That's
yeah. But yeah, no. But I mean, we didn't expect Trump to handle it well. I mean, that's just like the sad thing is he's a Republican. That pretty much means that he's going to purposely deny it.
I mean, like, the whole, like, George Floyd, like, cop, like, the cop that, like, killed George Floyd, like, he didn't really have, like, a reason to do so. Like,
no reason, and he kneeled on his neck for, I think, a couple of minutes.
8 minutes and 46
without
seconds.
handcuffing him.
Yeah.
Or I think he handcuffed him and then just stood on his neck for a couple of minutes and choked him to death.
Yeah.
Clearly intentionally, while the guy was saying, "You're choking me."
Yeah, exactly.
And the only reason why this blew up and others didn't is because it was captured on video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with audio. It was an absolutely clear racist killing. And it wasn't even like a serious crime. I think it was like a traffic stop or something.
Okay, so the store clerk said that he, used a fake $20 bill to buy something from the convenience store, but then I think the bill turned out to be real though, so it wasn't even fake.
Yeah.
So technically he did nothing wrong.
It's almost certainly an honest mistake anyway, and they killed him for it, basically because he's black.
Yeah.
It's the most outright racist thing that's happened since the Jim Crow era.
Is like this guy, like, is he like, what's his name, Jake Chauvin? Am I right?
I don't know the name of the cop. I can't even bear to look at that stuff.
Is he going to, like, go to the jail for, like, the rest of his life, or?
They're trying to try him, and it seems to actually be going okay, I think.
Okay.
But it's so high profile and partisan that who knows.
Bro, you're so cool, right?
Did she just say, "Man's got a dragon"?
That's
what I heard.
Okay.
It just seemed like it's such a non sequitur.
Huh.
Yeah. Fortunately, Biden is being able to handle that side of things much better.
So Biden, like, I'm sure, does, like, Biden have control over the cops' consequence?
He has a lot of policy control, and with both houses of Congress on his side, whenever he decides to make that a priority, I mean, frankly, like, even then, it's like, just in terms of numbers, we need to deal with the pandemic first.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, I mean, even if it's 100 brutal murders go on because nothing was done, or even 1,000, that's better than losing 10 million people from all over due to COVID. So the math of it is fairly cut and dry.
Yeah.
But I imagine once he gets done, which is not going to be that long by the looks of things, he'll start to focus on this.
What do you
he also
think?
looks at health and transport.
is like the appropriate consequence for the police officer?
Oh, jail for life. I mean, this was aggravated murder.
Yeah. Okay.
And all of the other cops who were involved there should probably get a couple decades in jail as well for being accessories.
So not jail for life, you don't think?
Well, I mean, they didn't. I mean, they didn't agree with it, but they didn't stop him either, despite the fact that they easily could have.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, I don't know the exact situation, but I think jail for life for effectively doing nothing.
Yeah.
Seems, well, literally doing nothing where you should have done something.
Right.
That's a little bit of like, and I think even making jail time at all on them is going to be hard to make it stick. Because I mean, again, it's like technically, I think they would have been breaking the law if they hold him off it.
True.
So, like, even if it was the right thing to do, arresting people for not breaking the law is a bad precedent.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, again, I don't know how it'll all pan out. That's just my suspicion. But yeah. It's funny. Despite most of the Trump administration being a horror show, he did basically two things well. And he did these quite well. He did the COVID response in terms of the vaccine. He pushed that so hard, and he and the administration was a fairly substantial part of why we got it so quickly.
Nice.
Because he did pour massive amounts of money into it, and he started off the production. I mean, that's why Biden's been able to meet his goal, primarily. I mean, Biden's continued ramping it up, and that's why he's going to be able to exceed his goal. But a lot of the reason why he was able to meet the goal is because of the groundwork laid by the previous administration. The other thing he did well was finally just taking the plunge and establishing Space Force.
So Trump.
Familiar with that at all?
Talking to me?
Yeah. Like, you familiar with Space Force at all?
Do you mean SpaceX or?
No, Space Force.
Space
Basically,
Force.
Trump established a fourth branch of the military.
Oh, really?
It's currently, because it's so small, it's under the jurisdiction of the Air Force. But that's how the Air Force got started, so I think it's quite appropriate. And effectively, it's for the management, potentially military, of space. And this is pretty much universally agreed in military circles to be a smart decision.
Okay. Why does there need to be military in space?
Well, largely it's going to be worries about the Russians.
Okay.
It will also be able to work potentially as a joint venture to shoot down any missiles.
Oh, yeah.
Currently, they don't have any assets in space yet, but that's likely going to change. I believe the employment figure is something like 8,000 people employed last time I checked, and it's growing quickly. There's like 2,000 a month earlier.
Nice.
And it seems like a genuinely good idea.
So this is all Trump's idea?
I don't think it was his idea, and when I sort of use the term Trump and Trump administration interchangeably.
Okay.
Because very little of it was actually his idea. Like, aside from the really horrid stuff, like the border wall and stuff, very little of it was actually his idea.
You said the wall is horrible?
Yeah, it's stupidity.
Okay.
It's an ecological disaster.
50 billion.
It does nothing. Like, that's the thing, it does nothing.
Yeah.
How on earth are you supposed to defend 1,000 miles of wall? And it's like chain link fence, or barely more than it. Anyone can just get a ladder. Like, it's like, it does nothing.
Isn't it like 50 billion for his wall?
Yeah, it's stupid. It's a stupid amount of money that's wasted. And, like, we're now in the process of tearing it down.
Okay.
The other part of it is, it may be our border. The animals don't respect that border. There are loads of migration routes that run right across it.
True.
And so it's been dang near an ecological disaster.
Are there actually people, like, coming into America illegally from Mexico?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Why?
The problem is not because because they want to live.
Oh.
They want to be able to feed their families,
And that will
and they
help.
can't do that in Mexico.
Wait, then how come there's so many rich people in Mexico?
Because, well, for one thing, there aren't. It's more South America. These voice comms are, like, the voice comms that sometimes come on are weird.
So annoying, yeah.
But there aren't very many rich people in Mexico. It's actually more of, it's more the less rich people who go there, to retire.
When I went to like Cabo, I saw like quite a few rich people.
I mean, there are rich people. There are like oil barons and stuff, but it's a
Yeah.
much lower percentage than it is in the U.S. And most of the population lives in staggering poverty.
So okay, so people like, but like, do you think people
Yo,
from
guys.
Mexico?
Comment for comment.
What?
Let's just turn the voice comms off.
Yeah,
Comment for
okay.
comment,
Sim,
guys.
I'm doing that
comment
right
you
now.
guys,
It is
comment
so
me, I'll
annoying.
comment you guys.
My God. Okay. How do I turn it off?
What?
Game settings.
Comment for comment.
Under game maybe. Communication.
Like,
So under
comment
game
for
and
comment.
communication, mute all but friends. Yes.
Okay. Mute all friends. Yes.
That should take care of it.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah.
To have it
got
on, but when we're trying to have our own conversation.
Okay. Do you think like people like from Mexico should be coming into the U.S. illegally or no?
I don't think they should be coming in illegally, but the fact is that at the moment they're doing this to feed their families. I mean, I can't exactly fault them for it. I mean, I agree. In an ideal world, it should be legal immigration. And that's one of the things that Biden is trying to do, is increase legal immigration.
Right. Is there anything bad with illegal immigration?
Yes, it means part of the problem with the border being so loose is that it's fairly easily it's easy for smuggling to come across. There are a whole bunch of things that can happen, but more than anything, they don't get any rights. The U.S. legal system if they come in illegally.
Okay.
So they can't use the police, they can't use the fire department, they can't get driver's licenses, they don't pay taxes because of that, which is the one benefit.
Yeah.
They can't even use the hospital sometimes unless they have cash to pay. They can't get loans. Like, basically, they are non-entities as far as the U.S. establishment is concerned.
Okay.
And because of that, it's just a bad situation. But it's a really tricky situation because at the same time, we're trying to get our own industry back, and most of where Mexican and South American immigrants go is in jobs that Americans are too lazy to do, hard farm work and things like that primarily. Like generally less skilled labor, not unskilled, but less skilled.
Okay.
But it still pays much better than it ever would in Mexico. And so it's great for business owners, but bad for everyone else.
Okay.
So it's a really tricky situation. It's one of the things I'd love to be able to sink my teeth into.
Yeah.
Like, do you know that expression? Sorry, I just realized that could sound quite weird if you don't.
No. Yes, something you want to learn more about.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, I do know what that means.
Okay, I was like, that's gonna sound really weird if you don't know the expression. It's like,
yeah, no.
you want to sink your teeth into Mexican immigrants? What?
You just want to bite them and eat them as a snack.
Yes, exactly. It's like, but I'm glad you knew the expression, so
Yeah.
that makes it good. Anyway.
I've used it too.
I get into such rants.
It's alright.
So yeah, it's a really tricky situation, and a lot of people are doing their best to manage it, especially now that a competent administration's in power. A lot of people are doing their best to solve this.
Okay. Like, what was Trump doing about the situation?
Trump's idea was just to cut everyone off entirely. except for the legal immigrants.
Is
Well, at the same
that
time, decreasing legal immigration.
good or bad? I mean,
Basically, it's just cutting the Mexicans loose entirely, or trying to.
okay.
In reality, even if you could do this, it would hurt the U.S. economy massively because
Right.
all the farms would shut down in the South.
Yeah.
Like a huge amount of the workers in the South are Mexican laborers, sometimes commuting across the border, like illegally, and it would also cause mass starvation in Mexico.
True.
So it's just not an option to cut everything off.
Okay.
They're not a morally acceptable one anyway by basically any gun. Yeah, so it's a really tricky situation because we can't just open the borders either, like fully, because
Why
then
not?
both of our economies will go into free fall.
Oh.
Because Mexico will lose all of its people, and eventually, yes, the labor market will go up, but that's not going to happen short term. And we will have our wages drop so low that we can't sustain living, like even at the poorest levels.
Oh.
So
Okay.
so we can't. So basically, we can't do either extreme as much as we would like to. So we've got to find some sort of middle ground. At least for me, as far as I can tell, that's going to involve raising the wealth of Mexico. Same way as currently, the balance of power is making it so that China's wealth is increasing at the expense of our own, but eventually it's going to reach an equilibrium point.
China's not very good to their people, though, right?
No, but if the standard of living rises, people are going to become more concerned with social issues, which is good, because the people might actually start thinking about it more than they already are. Not to say that they aren't doing social issues at the moment. And two, eventually it will no longer be profitable for all the countries, for all the companies to do all their manufacturing in China and Asia.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the thing that the economic side of the U.S. is more interested in, is making it so that it's no longer profitable for it to be in China. Now, admittedly, likely it's then going to shift to Africa, but after Africa, it's likely going to shift back to U.S. and Europe. And that could be in 50 years, maybe more, but at the same time, that still benefits us in the long term. So we have a direct incentive to increase the standard of living in China, not just a moral one.
But okay, so that's up to the I guess government of China, right?
Kind of, but the thing is, if everyone's gainfully employed, then the standard of living is going to rise.
True, yeah.
Because there are so many potential laborers that, at the moment, like, as more and more companies go there, eventually it's going to reach a saturation, and labor is going to start becoming more expensive. So it's a complex system. I mean, again, it's a world economy, how could it be anything but complex?
Yeah.
But this is especially complex, this issue of labor dynamics. That's my term, not the official term. Probably has a much better official term.
I understand though, yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting stuff, and it's one of the reasons why I'm going into economic history. Like, I mean, admittedly, my career is going to be civil engineering, but hopefully, maybe I can help have some of my projects have a positive economic impact by learning from the past. That's my sort of thinking going into it. Plus, also, I really like economic history, and I find it fascinating. I think I should. I don't see anything wrong with doing something that I enjoy, like in terms of something that helps others.
I think that's good, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really interesting and tricky situation. And because it's so complex, I can't just like direct you to something to read. It's like it's like, yeah, maybe there is some attempt at summarizing the world economy in pages, but it's going, by definition, it will be so woefully inadequate that it's barely worth reading.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have to have an understanding of economic theory, not so much necessarily because that's how the world works, but because that's how businesses make their decisions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a very complex situation, and it's a mess. Kind of a glorious mess, but it is a mess. And that combined, of course, everything in the present with the full extra dimension of how things are going to change over time. I mean, how is technology going to shift all this?
True. I mean, technology is only getting better.
That's only found in the U.S. Or like some new alloy that's only profitable to make in the U.S. And if that's the case, then suddenly everything will shift.
Yeah. I mean, that would be good.
Mm-hmm. And Tesla's helping a lot. Because they do a lot of their assembly here in the U.S.
Right. Is Elon Musk like a good person though?
He seems good. I really don't know enough. He's a bit weird.
Yeah, he is so weird.
Mm-hmm. Not shifty weird, just sort of slightly unstable genius weird.
I mean, I read his book in 2015. But yeah, he didn't seem like the nicest boss.
I mean, my understanding is he drives his people pretty hard, but he pays them well, and he's fair. That's my understanding.
Okay, but he fires them too.
I mean, yeah, if they mess up or if they're not doing the job, then I think that makes sense.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't like to get fired from, like, a job.
No, but I mean, again, like, you don't want to have it so that, like, incompetent people can just be there either.
True, yeah.
Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense to do that.
I agree, yeah.
So it's important to have some sort of balance. Funny, that's something I've started to learn as I've grown older, is balance is everything. I wish it wasn't, but balance is basically some of the best recipe for success.
Mm-hmm.
Balance, moderation. It's hard, but it's very hard to enjoy having moderation.
Yeah.
I think I might hop off after either this game or the next then. Sorry, I've talked a lot now, and I'm starting to get a little tired.
Oh yeah, no worries. Okay, so you said you want to hop off on this game or the next game?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you.
Yeah, I enjoy these. Do you want to do this again next Friday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
It's been great.
Actually, I have one more question. We were talking about, like, suits. You said that you don't wear a suit every day, so, like, typically what would be your everyday...
I wear once a month would be far more than average.
Okay. So what would be, like, your everyday outfit?
It's expensive to dry clean as well, because there's no competition. I think there's only one dry cleaner in town. And they do great work for a reasonable price, but I think it's like 10, 20 bucks more to dry clean a suit.
Wow.
Something around that. Because it's expensive and they're the only people in town. They do a really... But, it's not cheap.
So then, if you don't wear a suit every day, like, what would be your everyday outfit?
Sorry, you cut out a bit there. I couldn't hear the last thing you said.
Okay, so you said that, like, you don't wear a suit every day, so, like, I'm curious, like, what would be your everyday outfit?
These days, half the time it's pajamas. Again, I don't leave the house.
Okay. Let's say
Like,
when you
again, we're
leave
still
the
in
house.
not quite full lockdown here, but especially because now both my parents are vaccinated. My mom got vaccinated yesterday.
Nice.
So since both of my parents are vaccinated, there's very little in the house.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's usually like in terms of what I like to wear, it's lots of plain sort of pastel colors primarily.
Okay.
With occasional rich colors. So like nice sweaters, things like that. Generally jeans for pants, jeans or some sort of cargo pants.
Do you wear a tie?
Not usually, because I don't usually wear clothes that can handle it. I do dress up sometimes. Dress up certainly far more often than I wear a suit.
Okay.
I have an awesome tie collection.
I don't like same. I'm like just like you. I don't wear a suit every day, but like usually I wear black jeans and then like a shirt and tie and then like a sweater over that.
It's a nice outfit.
Yeah. Nice and casual.
Yeah. Or well, I mean, again, casual in Canada, or well, where you are in Canada, and casual here are so vastly different. I mean, here that's a formal outfit.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would be my formal outfit in here? Okay.
Like it sounds like formal in Canada is a suit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, which makes sense. And personally, I'm kind of a fan of it. Like suits look cool. But yeah. So generally, formal outfit here is like or at least, well, my formal outfit is a button-up, like a it's a classic white undershirt, like like the cotton thing. And then a light button-up shirt, then tie of some sort, usually plain color, then a unbuttoned long sleeve dress shirt, sort of as a jacket, and then a heavier jacket over that.
Okay.
That tends to be my formal outfit. Like, well, business casual, but...
So then how would, like, my, if I, like, wore that in, like, the US every day, I guess, would I just be, like, dressing up formal every day instead of casual?
I mean, kind of a mix. I mean, this is quite an informal part of the US.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you will see people in, like, ripped jeans and t-shirts all the time.
So, if casual to me is, like, my outfit with, like, black jeans, a shirt and tie, and then, like, a sweater, what would be a casual outfit in the US?
So, that's basically business casual. And that sounds a lot like what my dad goes to work.
Okay.
Different pants and different color scheme, but otherwise rather similar.
Alright.
A truly casual outfit in the US could be a lot of things, depending on just where you are. In some places, it's like a rip. Have you ever heard of a wife beater T-shirt? It's just like that's not, of course, their actual name, but that's the moniker they gave. Like sort of like ripped tank top, usually sort of almost flesh colored.
Isn't that called a muscle shirt?
Maybe, except it's not tight at all.
Does it expose the back and the chest?
No.
Okay, then yeah, I guess we're thinking of two different things.
Yeah, it's like a short sleeve, very light T-shirt. That just and it's gotten there's nothing wrong with it as a clothing, but it's gotten the unfortunate association with domestic violence.
And why is that?
Just because it's a very easy outfit.
Okay.
And it's like the type of thing that someone who's drunk might walk around a house with.
Yeah. Alright.
So it could be anything from that and a set of ripped jeans to, I mean, heck, on the East Coast, what you're it's about the same as what you were describing. Like, casual would be a shirt and tie.
Right.
So like I mean, again, with something as varied as the U.S., it varies massively. But around here, casual is usually some sort of long sleeve shirt, occasionally with a tie. I see bow ties, I think, more than average around here. Like, not very many still, but more than you would elsewhere.
Do you wear bow ties?
No, I don't even own one.
Okay. I'm too scared to like wear a bow tie. Like I don't really know like what like color combination.
I have no idea how to tie them.
Oh yeah.
If you're looking for tie knots, though, I can like other knots to try. I can give you some. I can give you some interesting ones.
So the knots I usually use are the
Sorry, you cut out there.
Okay.
Probably on my end, but I just didn't hear what you said.
The knots I use is the full Windsor, the half Windsor, and the four in hand.
Yeah, those are good knots.
Okay.
Hang on, let me open some things and share some links in chat, or like in here. I found a great site that has a whole bunch of them.
Okay.
So basically, it like the main purpose of the site is like a it's like a tie selling service, but they also have a whole bunch of great tutorials on how to tie a tie. And that's how I finally learned.
Okay.
So and that's got like 10 or 12. These are more male knots. I don't really know what knots you use for a woman. I mean, just probably similar. I mean, this one says male, but
women's suits don't have ties in them, though, right?
Some suits. I think almost all of the ones on here actually, like almost all of the ties on here are actually suits.
Well, no, I'm talking about like women's suits.
Sorry, I was being shot brutally at the time. What did you say?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm like, I thought like I haven't ever seen a women's suit with a tie.
A woman's suit with a tie?
Like I've never seen that.
I've seen it occasionally.
Oh. Okay.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, I mean I've just never seen it.
It looks amazing. It's like I don't fully. I think, frankly, the only reason why more women don't wear ties, at least as far as I can tell, is just because of cultural things, because it looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, you are awesome. I want to listen to you.
Yeah.
It just commands the room.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, if you see it, you'll know you've seen it. But yeah. But so I don't really know the difference between male and female tie knots.
I have no idea.
It's just one of those things. But yeah, but these are great. These are a great set of tie knots for men.
Okay.
And I think most of these can do for anyone. All the way from simple stuff like the half Windsor and the Windsor, and the simple knots to really adventurous stuff. Like there are knots that are asymmetrical. There are knots that are really complex. Whole bunch of stuff for all kinds of different occasions. Anything from extremely formal to fun to business casual. And it's what I use for whenever I need to tie a tie. I look up one of these tutorials.
So you don't wear you don't wear a tie every day, or?
No, I do not. I very much do not wear a tie every day. I wish I could, but frankly, I don't want to run through all my clothes that fast. I need to go through all my clothes and like get rid of most of them because I'm at the point where only about half of it actually fits, and I have like 2 full dressers and they're both overflowing, and that's usually with a lot of clothes on the floor. Like dirty. Like if I ever have a truly clean room, I cannot fit all my clothes and I have them stacked on the side tables.
Okay.
And that's not counting the closet clothes.
Ah.
And the closet's full too.
Okay.
So most of the stuff in the closet fits.
So you burn through. Wait. So then I wear a tie. Well, I don't. What do you mean, like burn through?
Like as in make them dirty.
Okay. Wait, you're not supposed to like wash your tie though, unless like dirt gets on it though. Right?
No, not generally, but it's not for the tie so much, but just for the dress shirts and stuff.
Oh, okay. You don't want to get like, but you don't need to dry clean them. You can just throw them in the wash.
No, you don't. But at the same time, like, it takes a fair bit of effort to dress up, and there's relatively little payoff for me.
Okay.
So,
I guess for me, like, would it not take any effort to dress up?
it takes the amount of effort, but again, if that's the casual wear, then there's a good payoff for you.
Okay.
And plus, you just seem to look better in it from every photo I've bloody seen of you recently.
Okay, I mean, it's just casual, so like I just have to look like that every day, I guess.
Yeah. But so these knots, and they're fun to try as well. These knots, like, and they got cool names as well that are fun to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I mean, there's another called the Van Wyck knot, which is named after its creator.
Ah.
I think the single longest tie knot in existence.
Maybe I'll try this.
Like, that's kind of its claim to fame, is it's just extremely long and thin. And I mean, again, the nice thing is they show you pictures of the finished, and they have both video and step-by-step tutorials, so you can really get a sense of how it's going to look on you. So you don't have to spend like an hour trying all the different knots before every time you go out.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's been great talking with you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great talking to you.
Why is this so awkward? I mean, I suppose goodbyes are usually awkward, but
Yeah.
it's like it's only gonna be for a week. It shouldn't be that bad.
I guess we'll see each other,
Yeah.
Friday at 7. I have to go back to school! No! Oh. Are you,
So
like,
do you want to do it on a weekend day or Saturday or?
Fridays at 7 works great for me.
Okay. Why did I say a weekend day or Saturday? What is wrong with me? Sometimes I just don't know. It's like what?
I can't decide if I want to do it on a weekend day or a Saturday.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I suppose there is a slight distinction for me because I work on Sundays.
Okay.
So there's a slight distinction.
Where do you, work?
Not just I do spare work then, but I mean I designate that as a school day.
Oh,
Even though I
okay.
don't have class. Yeah, so that's about the only explanation that kicked up for why at first I said that. Alright. Well, I guess see you, man. It's been great talking with you.
Alright, yeah, I guess you can get off, and I guess I'll
Alright.
talk to you, next week. Alright, peace.
Yeah, alright. See ya.